bit of a log jam at the moment because the big crane trailer is on the move again, and we've got the rotting off on the front at the moment, the Super Atlantic, and a smaller Scammer on the back, the Mountaineer. They four-wheel drive, spent its working life, I think, with Pickford, certainly in their colours.
Yes, I'm very grateful. I've had a Macmillan nurse looking after me since this time last year, and to be honest, it was an opportunity to try and put something back. And we got them down there. They've also got their Macmillan bus over to the left-hand side of the arena.
Oh, so, right, I didn't know where it was.
Yes, you can go and see them along there. From some places you can see the green top of it, but I don't think there are any arenas as big as this with as much action going on anywhere in the preservation worldwide. And I mean, it all came about basically. This event started in 1969 because the late evening or at night when the fair is operating, it is probably the best view that you will get anywhere of this site and the fairground. A stunning sight from up there. Meanwhile, we've got one of our American engines here, the Fearless. And I think this is the 6 horsepower Fearless 1895, an R type, and called Princess. Fearless was built in Wadesboro, I think it's Pennsylvania. A Dean coming by with not a piece of American equipment, the First World War Liberty, with the right sort of crew on the front, would be left a sort of quarter of a mile away halfway up the hill, because they would have been determined to get away.
Has been a bit of bother. She's been put on the back today. She's normally on the front in charge, but we've got the ladies at the back today, which is unusual. Usually Langley is at the back with the big Fowler, who's at the front today, but these three engines from the Searle stable down in Horsham, they took this trailer on the London to Brighton run about, 3 years ago, John? Something like that? Martin, you'll probably remember, 3 years ago. And of course, to get to Brighton with an outfit like that, they left pretty early in the morning, and apparently one of the highlights of the trip was the expression on the folk coming out of the nightclubs at about 3 in the morning when this lot came belting through. All suitably lit, of course, and they were straight through to Brighton. Magnificent effort. From Brighton they roaded the trailer home, and then they roaded it back here for the next show. And to say they've really got this job off to a fine art. And to see that lot coming up one of those nice climbs on the way to Brighton was quite a sight, with the engines absolutely wide open, giving it everything they've got as they came up the hill. I guess that trailer empty with the transformer, which is actually full of rubbish. Les was hoping it was going to be full of copper when he got it home, but it wasn't. But there's probably 40 or 50 ton there, and Martin Fagg's just joined us. He's nodding learnedly, but he does a very good learned nod, but he doesn't know what he's talking about a lot of the time. On now, because the back engine, of course, is keeping the whole load steady as they go down the hill, so braking effort comes from the back initially.
Looking at His Majesty there, I didn't notice, but I suspect that, assume that the brake wheel, like all Burrell Road logos,
goes the wrong way around.
Goes the wrong way around, and when you come down the hill, you've got to tell your brain, don't turn it clockwise to put the brake on.
That was Charlie Burrell. He was too mean to buy a lathe that could do a left-hand thread. Where's Rob Wing? I must point that out to him. One of the many deficiencies of Burrell's, you would say, Martin, would you?
Yeah. Quite a few deficiencies.
Right, are we going for the hill or are we going around the bottom? Is that young Les? No, it's not. It's Willie Woodward, isn't it, that's on bonus here. He'll learn how to use the shovel on this job, not tootling around on his little five. Which is a lovely way of describing he was going like hell, you know. Yeah, they're up the hill now, so now you'll see a little bit of entertainment, and if you stood over that side, you'll certainly hear them in a moment. When we had good old smoky coal, you could tell who was doing all the work by who kicked out the most smoke. But now that we're on to woodwork just fired up on motors here, the load end. So he's doing a bit already. Giving it a bit too much prime. There's a lot of skills required to do this job. We laugh here and jest about it, but you've got to have enough water in the boiler, because when they make that climb, they're going to use a lot of water coming out of the hill. So you want to fill the boiler up, but if you get it too full, when you get the regulator wide open, the engine will suck the water up instead of the steam. And then you get solid incompressible water going on. And that's bad news.
About 1 in 12, and then before the summit, if you like, it steepens out to 1 in 8, which is quite something under any circumstances, but with the ground being fairly soft as it is now, that road probably has considerably more resistance, certainly than it would on a hard road. I mean, there is no rolling
Well, it looks as though the two on the front are doing most of the work, because these producing, you can see that Goldhofer modular trailer there, all the wheels steering, so the thing follows more or less perfectly in the track made by the tractor unit that's pulling it. So she comes round, you can see that's all automatic. Every axle is steering except the one in the middle. You've got 9 axles there. Well, you've actually got 18 axles if you want to be pedantic, because there's 2 axles on each row, as they call it. Very expensive bit of kit, that trailer. You're probably looking at something like about £30,000 per row of wheels to buy a trailer, and they can be built up. You connect it all together, and then the sort of computer brain tells which wheel to go in which direction. Very, very clever piece of kit. You can also make them rise up, and if you get on a piece of sloping ground with a large top heavy load, you can lift one side of the trailer to keep the thing in balance and so on. So hugely effective and adaptable piece of equipment. And Colin normally brings a large articulated trailer, but he's obviously been out with this modular unit, and it's rather nice to see it as a different bit of equipment that we haven't seen before.
Talking of things we haven't seen before, going down the hill on the inside, we've got this fantastic 1917 Haulage gun tractor, which were used in considerable numbers during the First World War, and behind it is a replica who has gigantic, the McLaren, which is restored in First World War livery, has done many, many miles on the road, including through London, with that big howitzer behind. And in complete contrast, they've been scuttling around here all the last few days, and we've had so much going on, we tended to have missed them. There's this little motorcycle combination coming along with a stretcher on there. We've got the nurse on the back, and oh dear, the rider has done something to his ear.
Riding out at the front. He's got his binder with him, Ashes with him, Baker wobbling along at the back. Look at them. You watch them when they come back, ladies and gentlemen. They'll sneak in the bottom entrance so we can't see what they look like. This one Napier to go back into building cars.
That's
again.
right.
Very, very interesting indeed. Richard Pocock's engine just coming around now, the little gem, and indeed the man himself sitting steering, looking very, very serious indeed. So say, if you'd like a trip round the ring, get up close and personal with the heavy haulage equipment, this is the way to do it.
The old Haulage tractor.
It's having a bit of a turn at the moment.
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Ministering to it in some fashion.
Oh, there we go.
Off again.
He's off again. It's owned by Ron Harris's family. Gideon Morgan on the back there. There's this team led really by Rolly Moores, Rolly has been the brains behind much of the trenches demonstration we've got up there, but also an incredible collection of First World War generation vehicles, most of which are his, and which he has, heaven knows how, probably knowing the right sort of people, has rescued from various...
The late David Hurst helped him acquire a lot of parts, and then rebuilt it, and it goes very well. Folders and Sentinels, of course, were the great rivals. You've got the Sentinel there going off up the hill, that creamy white-coloured Hovis lorry, and then the Foden coming behind. Sentinels went for the under-tight engine with just the boiler in the cab. Foden stuck to the over-tight. In other words, the Foden lorry is really just like a traction engine, but with all the bits on top of the boiler, if you like. And only at the very end did Foden decide to go for the more up-to-date design, if that's the word I want. And that's a new engine to him. He's an experienced engine driver and has a smaller McLaren engine, so he won't know that engine as well as he will know his own engine, but obviously they're feeling happy that the engine will have had a look round as they got to the top, got the thumbs up, so they just carried on and straight back down again. I thought he'd leave it like that because it's very typical of how engines would have looked when they were in their working days. They weren't all polished and shiny as they are today. Well, they got the Sentinel going around, just stretching his legs a bit. These wagons have got a very good turn of speed, of course. That chain drive Sentinel would quite happily manage 30-40 miles an hour. On the open road, but they're not ideal for this sort of going because they use superheated steam, and the superheater takes a while.
This year, awareness of terrible poverty, particularly in children.
I mentioned a few moments ago the speed at which a typical girder trailer, road train, the sort of speed that they might have to maintain for a lot of a cross-country journey through Britain in the days when this trailer was in use with Pickfords, and these tractors would have been the mainstay of the heavy haulage company. You might possibly on nice open stretches of wideish road get up to 10 or 12 miles an hour, notch up a couple of gears. And of course your gear ratios, John, have to be matched. When you have different tractors with different gearboxes, the drivers have to know what ratio will suit any particular speed they're trying to go. Right. And of course they would have had some system between them.
That will be transported to the trenches in insulated boxes, just as it would have been back then. Obviously, it's like now, but it would have been a couple of miles back then. And those hay boxes would have done a pretty fair job in keeping the food hot, because the army took supplying its troops with good food very serious. Although nutritionists, as we know them, didn't exist back then, a plant was going to stick to the line necessarily in the throat, because in 1914 there was an enormous crop of both handles and plugs. Consequently, they were going to
And in liking introduction to what you're doing down there in French layout, I think it's interesting that we are now seeing it much more this year from the infantry point of view.
The heavy haulage demonstrations which you see today were born out of an idea that came to three enginemen quite a few years ago when we were on the original site, and they got hold of one of these log trolleys, and amalgamated heavy haulage was started at that point, and we thought it would be nice to mark the passing of one of the instigators of that particular job. But we'll just get the trailer right through the tangle, and the engineman and a few others I know are going to gather for a moment whilst we do this. Well, each year sees, sadly and inevitably, the passing of more people involved with the steam and the men of old, and in fact we've had quite a list in the last 12 months since the last Great Dorset, and I want to begin by mentioning three of the people who were very involved with the event. Gordon Hine, who declared the first ever Great Dorset Steam Fair open. He died last year at the age of 93. Sid Wallace, another man who was a director of the show, and John Garrett, who too was, I think, chairman of the board of directors at one time, and they all sadly passed away in the last 12 months. John and Richard Sandercock decided they would get the log trolley, one of the log trolleys, and they hitched the three locos together. They changed the name on the headboards of the locos to Amalgamated Heavy Haulage, and so the germ of the idea was born. And from that original effort with the log trolley, all the other bits and pieces which you see in the ring were accumulated to various different trailers with loads and so on. And then of course when we moved to this site the playpen was developed, and the whole thing has grown into the spectacle that it is today. But we lost Len at the turn of the year. A most extraordinary man, very, very talented engineer. Served his time as a toolmaker actually, and worked in the jewellery quarter in Birmingham, his first job. He submitted one to the Model Engineering Show in London and was awarded the Duke of Edinburgh's Cup, which is the supreme award for model engineering. And he then decided he would go on from that to make a model of John Thompson's Fowler crane engine. And indeed we have that engine standing here at the top of the arena. And he would model this engine, so of course he made quite a few visits to John Thompson to measure the engine. The engine family have had that model for quite some time now. You can see there his right hand is steering that horizontal wheel that Ed's quietly turning with his right hand. That's the steering. Goes off down the hill. It's not the most practical design in some respects because you've actually got to start to get on the fire the thing. Quite a fun little vehicle. When Andrew Melrose on it, we used to do a lot of steam flying. It was always known as the steam flag on the staff car. About 8 people would sit on the coal tray on the front to get a lift to wherever we were going. Gigantic just coming around, he'll not the flower maintenance, so that was built as a contractor. The army ordered 55 of them for hauling guns in the First War. That was one of the few that survived. It finished up out in Australia, where it was rocked. Scrap dealers got at it and had all the brass tickets. For some reason or other, they blew up the cylinder block on it. And he came back to this country